Hello and greetings, fare thee, weary travelers. Hello everyone, welcome back to a new YouTube video. In an effort to live a more magical and whimsical life, like I said in my last YouTube video, I am making a ball gown. And I wanted to take y'all along with me as I try to learn how to make a ball gown. Before we get into it, do I know anything about ball gowns and how they are constructed? No, I don't. I have some patterns and I've watched some YouTube videos, therefore I am an expert on the subject matter. And we're just gonna be really winging this one and just hoping for the best. Not going for perfection here, as this is a first attempt ever, but going for doing our best job. So this is the breakdown plan. This is kind of the general design that I sketched up for what I want it to look like. I've been tossing and turning between bodice styles, but if I want it to be able to be more convenient to fit other people, if someone else was to wear this dress, because I am roughly basing it off of my own measurements because I have no other way of gauging size otherwise. So if I wanted to vaguely be able to fit other people, I want to make the dress kind of like how you would normal ball gowns and princessy dresses, where the skirt and the bodice aren't actually sewn together. They're basically a shirt and a skirt that you go on. So they're going to be separate, and that just makes it easier for other people to get in and out and to adjust the sizing of the bodice at least. So I think I might go for this for the bodice top, and then we'll have it be a corset lace up at the back, which I think will look really cool. So yeah, this is day one of ball gown making. I'm giving myself till May to finish it. It is March 6th today. So I have about a month and a half, just over a month and a half to finish the whole ball gown, because I want to shoot with it in the springtime when it's all flowery, so April, May. So it's about a month and a bit, which is not a lot of time for a ball gown when you don't know how to make a ball gown. And there's several layers, so that's what we're doing right now. Do some math, get our fabric, and let's get started. Just a forewarning though, seamstresses of the world, just turn away, shield thy eyes, because this whole project is going to be a hot mess when it comes to that. I'm not a professional, guys. This is the fabric that we're working with. So I got two of these, I think they're curtains. They're this really soft, it's not chiffon. I don't really know what it is, to be honest, but they're very soft and flowy. This is going to be the outer skirt layers. For the under layers underneath that thing, so it's not translucent, I have this white fabric sheet thingy. May need to buy more of this just because I don't have a lot of it. We have lots of tulle to also make it oh so poofy. Here we go. So this hopefully should be enough to make the ball gown. I feel like I'm going to need to go buy more tulle, because I don't think this is going to be enough tulle to make it as poofy and magical. Vaguely very wedding dressy, but I might dye it. I don't know. So yeah. Okay, I don't really know if there's any good way of doing this, so we're just gonna start. So I got the hoop skirt here, the big guy, and I'm gonna put it on so I know exactly what it's on and fallen, I guess how big it is. So okay. Okay, so we want it to be about how long? Alright, okay. So the hoop skirt, if I measure it from waist to bottom that you can't even see, this thing, it will never not be so much fun. Okay, so from waist to bottom, it is about 40 something inches, but I wanted to have, we don't want to see our scandalous ankles, so I need it to be a bit longer, so I'm going to measure out about 44 inches. Okay, so I think I have a general idea of how I'm going to layer all of these fabrics, but right now I'm going to measure how wide this stuff is to see if it gonna actually work. I don't think that I think it should be fine, but we'll find out. And you know what? This would probably be smarter if I just went downstairs and got my tripod to set this up, but I'm too lazy for that. Wow, that is like barely. Hello, good morning, or technically good afternoon. It is the next day. What we're doing today is we're going to cut out all of the circle skirt panels from the fabric today. I've done the calculations. Are they right? To be honest, I'm not fully confident on that, but we're gonna find out if they're right, and hopefully this works. Okay, here we go. Ah. So I just finished cutting out all the fabric, at least all the fabric that I've got right now. Again, I think I might want to get more tulle just so like when you're like swooshing about, it's very nice and poofy looking. But anyways, I did 2 half circle skirts for this outer layer because my fabric wasn't wide enough to do a full circle. So I have 2 half circles. I just cut it to the same measurements that I was doing the full circle skirt because gotta be that big anyways, and I just hope that works. I could be wrong, but I'm somewhat optimistic that that should work.
3 weeks later.
Hello. It's been a few weeks since I've worked on this project, so I'm finally getting back to starting on it though, so I haven't done anything. I got just busy with a bunch of other stuff. I'm finally though getting back to sewing. I'm working on a few things that I just forgot to record, such as the bodice, which right now I have this lovely dress form that I'm borrowing from my friend Katie's little sister, Jenna. So thank you, Jenna, to kind of help me with some of the draping and stuff like that. And kind of just like holding stuff. So this is the mock-up. I'll lower you guys. Yeah, this is pretty much all I've done so far since I last recorded it. So the pattern piece that I used, the pattern is a style 1838 pattern. You know what, I'll just try it on and I'll show it to you. It's really hard to put it on when it's just me. So that's kind of what it looks like. It fits all right on the back. I think I need to extend it a little bit so that it will kind of have that perfect point here at the back. So it's a little hard to tell, so I'm not sure if I need to make it a little smaller still so that the lacing will like actually work. I think what I'll end up doing, as my mother pointed out, is basically we're going to take this fabric here and we're just going to kind of like extend it a little bit so it's a bit more tapered in at the top like that, and then kind of comes out ever so slightly more here like on the bottom. So I might just like extend this to come out a little bit more, kind of like how I have this extension here. So that way when it's on, it'll be cinched at the top, like around the bust area, and then still fit around the waist. Because right now it fits the waist, but it don't fit my bust area. It's a bit roomy here, which I don't love. So basically the plan is to take this in by like an eighth of an inch. So take that in a little bit so it cinches in the upper bust area on both the sides, and then extend the back a little bit so that when it's laced up that it will hopefully fit. It's hard to tell. Oh my gosh, so I just did another mock-up of the bodice with the pattern pieces that I cut out from the initial mock-up. I still need to work on the back to get this to fit. This is driving me crazy, this like point thing, that to be honest I might just abandon the idea of it and just kind of have it tucked in like this. And as long as it closes, I'm okay with that. So that's the back though, but overall I'm happy with the general shape. Okay, So I made another mock-up and adjusted the back a bit. I've X-nayed on the little like triangle bits at the back of the bodice because it was too much hassle to figure out. And so I've made the adjustments. I think it should fit properly now and should lace up fine at the back. I'm like pretty sure. This was a bit funky, this one, but I fixed it. I've got all my new pieces here. And part of me wants to make another mock-up to be 100% certain. But at the same time, I think I might just jump into it and cut and sew the lining layer at least of the bodice. I don't know. I'm scared. I'm so scared to mess it up. But I do have extra lining if I do mess up and I don't have a lining anymore. I do have extra. I think it should be fine. I know everything else fits. I have to just take it in. So I think I just gotta bite the bullet and start cutting. I feel like all in all, this is a very simple project, but because I don't know what I'm doing, it makes it a lot more complicated than it actually is. But I'm super excited for when it's done. I think it's gonna look pretty stinking stunning. Okay, so I've been cutting out the bodice and like sewing it together, and I finally have all the layers together. I am gonna have to use the lining layer to help, or the mock-up layer to help with the lining because it is too see-through. That means I gotta redo the back. But I just put it on the dress form. It's absolutely atrocious on the back, so we don't talk about what it looks like on the back because I'm gonna fix that later. But I'm going to fix the initial mock-up like version first. Like I'll fix the back and then I'm going to sew all of them together, and then we will work on doing the like hem on all of them. I'm not exactly sure what my plan is for that, as to whether or not I'm going to put a bias tape on it or not, because if I do, I don't have one, so I need to order some or go to the store and get some. I don't really know. I haven't figured that part out yet, but this is what it looks like. It looks so pretty. Like, oh my goodness, it looks so much better than I thought. I did not try at all to do any pattern matching on this, even though it is patterned. I was kind of just like, you know, it's chaotic enough that you honestly cannot tell, and it looks like I tried to pattern match it, but it just kind of worked out that way. So yeah, the back is definitely too big, so I need to make it smaller so that it will lace up. If this was a zipper back, I'd be like, whatever, this is good enough, but alas, it's not, so we gotta fix that up a little bit. But progress, it looks so pretty. Okay, this is gonna be me really using all of my remaining 2 brain cells to try to figure out how to cut rectangles, which is pretty much all I'm doing for these sleeves. They're essentially just gonna be rectangles that are gathered rectangles. So let us droop the fabric. I'm so sorry if you cannot see anything. I'm trying my best, guys. When it comes to literally anything related to sewing, I'm really just winging it. I'm not gonna lie. So is this the proper method of doing anything? I literally, I have no idea. This is just what makes sense in my head at this moment in time. So, come at me. Here. Technically here would be, there we go. A little cut has been made. Now I'm just gonna put this down here so I can make sure I have a straight line. I'm notoriously bad at not doing that. Alright, and down we go. She cut. There we go. And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna sew an elastic casing along the edge here, kind of like going down this way. So we're gonna sew an elastic casing about an inch or two down the way, and then another one down the bottom, and then we'll attach them at the end, and that's pretty much that's the sleeve. Okay, I realized I did something real stupid earlier. When I was measuring the sleeves, which is this one of the sleeves, I took the same measurements twice around my arm and cut the elastics the same, which makes 0 sense because wrists are different size than obviously your biceps. So they were really big on the wrist side. So basically what I've been doing to fix that, because I cannot be bothered to seam rip and recut things, basically what I'm doing is where I have the elastic attached, I'm essentially just sewing a seam that's on a diagonal, and then I'm gonna cut off the excess fabric because it's so gathered you can't really tell, to be honest, what's underneath where the wrists are. But other than that, they fit pretty good. Very billowy. It's a little big still, so I gotta take the armband on this one a little bit, so I'm gonna do the same thing but on the top and just connect it to the main seam. And then here, this is what I mean, it's like super baggy, so I'm going to cut that or sew a stitch so that it's tight like this one and doesn't slide off, and then that'll be the sleeves. But yeah, when you do princessy sleeves like this, make sure you measure your wrist for the second elastic and your biceps. But yeah. Yes. Okay, now take this off and fix this sleeve because this one's done now. Alright, wrap up time. So here is the dress without the hoop skirt on because that would be really big and this room is tiny. But anyways, here is the final dress. I am actually so happy with how the final product turned out. I think it looks so pretty. 100% gives wedding gown vibes, and I definitely had 3 different sets of people congratulate me when we were on location filming. But I also had 2 little boys who told me I looked very beautiful, which made my freaking day. And there were a lot of little kids who were kind of like ogling me like, oh my god. So it made me so happy, and I felt very pretty wearing it. Alright, let's talk what went well, what didn't go well, and overall kind of general consensus. Overall, I'm really proud of how it turned out. Considering it was my first ever big ball gown, and like I made this entirely on my own with only occasionally asking my mom for like some advice when it came to like the bodice or like the best way to do the elastics. But for the most part is entirely something I've made on my own. So for my first ever ball gown and with very minimal to no instructions, I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. It looks exactly like I kind of pictured from the initial design phase to the final product. So I'm really proud of myself, and I think I did a pretty good job, all things considered. As for things I would do differently the next time, the bodice isn't perfectly tailored to my measurement, so it is kind of big on me, and there's a lot of like room on the upper like bust area, and I feel like the boning just isn't holding its shape quite as well as I would like. I think that's more so just I cut the boning strips a little too short so they don't go all the way down to the actual like seam. So that is my own fault for that, so I don't feel like it's keeping as much of its structure. So for like the next one, what I would do is I would find a pattern, or I would make it a much more tailored fit to my size specifically, just because then it will fit me better. But I did want this one to be a bit more size inclusive, so that's okay, I don't mind that. But for the next one, I definitely am gonna have a very like tailored fit so that it is snug and secure on my body and nothing is sliding around. So like, when I was like running around in some of those shots, like this was like falling down and I had to like pull it back up. As far as the skirt goes, I definitely should have kept in mind a bit more with the length and making sure I didn't cut them too short. It doesn't fully touch the ground, so it gives a little bit like tutu vibes at times because the hem isn't perfectly even, and that's also because I like switched around the layers a bit, so I kind of wish I had thought that out a bit more. As for like the total cost breakdown of how much this whole thing cost, not including the number of hours it took me to actually make it, which I think if you added it up, it's probably about like 2 and a bit weeks. I'll have an exact background right here. Put a picture, there you go. If I were to include just the stuff that I actually, like material wise, actually used, it would probably come out to just under $100 for the whole dress, which I think is pretty damn impressive for a dress of this volume and size. Most of that money was the bodice and the sleeves, which are the most expensive part of this dress, but the entire skirt is made out of bed sheets and tulle curtains, and then a lot of the other materials like the grommets, the hoop skirt, the ribbon, and like the thread. I have so much of it still, and I'm going to be using this hoop skirt for a bunch of other dresses, so I don't think it's really just like an individual expense. But like, yeah, I think overall for almost half thrifted, half not made ball gown / wedding dress, about $100 is pretty good. It's actually cheaper than most of my own like grad dresses that I've purchased from like boutiques and stuff. So yeah, that's how much it costs to make, which just really goes to show you can make stuff for dirt cheap still. It might take more effort, but you can do it. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video anyways. It's very different from anything I've ever made before, so this whole format and style of making videos is really new to me, so I might be a little awkward kind of fumbling my way through, but I had a lot of fun recording it, and I had a lot of fun making it, and I'm really excited to make more fun projects and hopefully document more of those projects as I kind of learn more about sewing and crafting and that kind of world. And yeah, I will see you all in the next video. Yes! It's stuck. We got plenty of length.
We don't see your feet, and you look very centered.
Yeah, okay, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Thanks guys for sticking around.